All right, so UFC Vegas 94 happened this weekend. It was a card where the prelims, very small prelim card. Prelims, I'm gonna be casual right here. They're kind of boring. But the main card, the 5 fights we ended up having on the main card, a lot of finishes, a lot of excitement. Before we get to the main card, Alex, let's recap the boring prelims.
The first, not all boring, just lackluster in all result. Thomas the Train Peterson was the big engine that could, as he really just showed up. Muhammad Usman took him, the big boys, into
That was
deep
one of
water.
your bets, wasn't it?
Shut up.
Picks.
It was. I lost that one. Thomas Peterson won by unanimous decision, but it wasn't a very impressive win. You know, it was a lot of Muhammad Usman not really getting his footing or timing, not being confident in his own strikes. From there, moving on to another decision, Luana Carolina beat Lucy Pudilova. This one was a clear unanimous decision in my mind. 114 total strikes landed. She stopped half the takedowns of Pudilova. It was a good performance. Should have been 30-27 on all three, in my opinion. She won 29-28, 29-28, 30-27. To my second favorite fight of the prelims, Trey Ogden did what he does best. He took the guy down. That guy is Loic Radzhabov. Took him down 4 out of 5 takedowns, almost 10 minutes of control time. It was a big win for him. He did that same thing to Kurt Holloway last time out. That's how he fights. He wanted the sub. He couldn't quite get the sub, but he did what he needed to do to get the dominant win on that fight. And Miranda Fear the Maverick, she handily beat Dion Barbosa. Admittedly, Dion Barbosa was in on short notice because originally Miranda Maverick was supposed to fight Tracy Cortez. So with the last week mix-up moving into this week, Dion Barbosa did her best, but Fear the Maverick was ready for it. She was the fan favorite, the moneyline favorite, my favorite, and she put the fear in Dion the Witch Barbosa, not letting her cast any spells. That's all I got for the pun there. And then closing out the prelims, the only finish on the prelims, round 1 submission by Cody Gibson to Brian Kelleher. It was an arm triangle.
Did you pick Kelleher too?
No, I picked Gibson.
Okay.
I picked both Codys. I won one of those and I lost one of those. This was the one I won. Cody Gibson won. He subbed, Brian Kelleher. It was good, in my opinion, for Cody because they were, both down looking to get a win. Kelleher lost, sub like twice in a row now, so that sucks.
It does suck.
That caps out, like we said, the lackluster prelims, moving right into
an eventful main card.
A very explosive main card. What was it? One fight made it to the 3rd round?
Yeah, one fight made it to the 3rd round, and that was
the only decision on the card.
Only decision.
Let's start in order.
Yeah, so the first fight of the main card, Choi with the first round knockout of Algeo. Impressive performance. He's a guy we mentioned before the fight. He hasn't fought a lot recently. I think he had, 1 or 2 fights in the past, 5 years?
Yeah, it was his 1 or 2 fights in the past 5 years, but it was also this was his first win in 8 years.
His first win in 8 years. And
his last one was in 2016, which is crazy.
We mentioned ring rust coming in. Yeah, because he had a 3-fight losing streak.
He had a draw to Kyle Nelson, I believe. Or maybe, Bill Algeo lost to Kyle Nelson. He drew to Kyle Nelson.
But we talked about ring rust coming in as it went on preview. There was no ring rust in here. He beat the way more active Algeo.
Yep.
That's more active in his career, not in this fight. Very impressive performance from Choi. Way to get back on the winning team, winning wagon, whatever you want to call it. Get some momentum back in your career.
Yeah, this was a big test for different reasons. You mentioned them for Choi. Bill Algeo needed to kind of get back on the horse after that loss to Kyle Nelson. Unfortunately for him, this gives Bill Algeo 2 knockout losses in a row in the UFC. I feel like he'll be back, never count him out. But Doo-Ho Choi surprised me here. I picked Bill Algeo to win originally, as did you. This was a good surprise. I'm actually excited to see Doo-Ho Choi fight.
Yeah, it was an exciting fight. He's a fun guy to watch when he's on.
Yeah, it didn't take him the whole fight. He got the finish. He didn't take a whole bunch of damage. So I hope to see him fight sooner rather than later. That would be a good one. See him, another Apex card would be great for him.
Yeah, I think he's an Apex guy for the time being.
All
but
right,
a few more first round knockouts, you never know.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's move on to the Cody I lost on. Cody Durden versus Bruno Silva.
Bruno Silva's second round TKO win.
He proved his nickname. He got that dog in him. Bruno the Bulldog Silva. Second round TKO win, like you said. He was the favorite coming in. He was a slight money dog favorite. I thought Cody Durden was going to beat Bruno Silva.
Yeah, I actually got this one right. I had Silva winning, and
This
thank
is
God
the one,
he
this is
showed
the
up.
fight on the preview when we said that we picked different. This is when I have to eat my words because I said, yeah, I like that because usually I'm right when that happens. I was wrong.
Well, you were right later in the card, but this one I got the edge on you.
Yeah, it was a good fight. Bruno Silva did what he needed to do. He was arguably down in the first round. He got taken down. Durden had some control time. 3 sub attempts early.
Yeah, I mean, it was looking very good for Durden early on.
I felt positive, and then the second round came, and Silva, I don't want to say he woke up, but he found his rhythm, got his timing in order, and, sent a massive uppercut that put Durden on the ground, and then followed it up with some stiff ground and pound that made the ref stop in and stop the fight. It was a great showing by Bruno Silva.
I was about to say, overall, great showing from Silva. It's one, if you're watching, you remember his little finishing sequence, his impressive performance.
Yeah, absolutely. Moving on now, the Louisiana native,
Podcast favorite.
Kurt the Hurt Hollabaugh. He took on Kanan Krucheski for the only decision of the main card. It was good. He landed with more power, more accuracy, and he had control time.
That's Hollabaugh with the unanimous decision win.
Correct. Over Krucheski. It was great. It was a great showing. I'm excited to see Kurt back. What do you think about the fight? Where'd you take it?
Yeah, it was an impressive performance. He came out. This is what we talked about it before. His third stint in the UFC.
Yep.
He opened up this stint. This was 2 fights ago with his first win after winning tough. He had a tough
31 lightweight.
No, he had no pun intended. He had a tough next fight against the guy you mentioned earlier, where it was kind of just ground control. Kind of got dominated, but not.
Yeah, he definitely got dominated,
but not in the way where it's like I got beat up, dominated. It's like I got held down. I couldn't do anything.
Right. His shoulders were pinned to the canvas for 15 minutes.
So honestly, this was a big one for Hollabaugh. This is one I think because he's been in the UFC this many times, and I think he was 1-5 coming in. This was almost one where Kurt had to win the fight.
Yeah.
To legitimately be like, I still belong here. And hey, he did. He got the unanimous decision win. Overall, just an impressive performance from him.
Yeah, he did good. He was taken down, but he got back up. He had, like we said, more power. It was a great fight for Hollabaugh to stake his claim for a next fight in probably another Apex card, if you ask me. But I'm excited to see it. We got to see his little boy cheer for him. That was cool.
If I'm him, I'm all about these Apex where I get on the main card.
Yeah, absolutely.
For right now?
Absolutely. Speaking of surprises, Steve Garcia, round 1 knockout over Sungwoo Choi.
You were surprised by this?
I was surprised by how quick it happened.
Yes, I was too. I picked Garcia to win, but it was a quick finish.
I typically pick second round knockouts because in my mind, when I'm looking at a lot of fights, at least in the lighter guys, heavier divisions, I would say probably quicker knockouts are more frequent. But on the lighter guys, they take a minute to figure out their timing and rhythm. That's why I always go with a second round knockout if I'm picking a round. This one was just kind of like lightning in a bottle. They started off quick.
Yeah, if you blink, you missed it.
Yeah, it was. I mean, Sungwoo Choi says here he only got 16 total strikes off, 9 landed, and it was just boom, 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 and then he got knocked out. Just minute and 36 seconds in.
I'd say Garcia probably had, of a main card that had a lot of finishes, it was probably the finish of the night, the highlight of the night.
Yeah, I mean, looking at Steve Garcia's career though, he's got 13 KO wins with a 5 KO win streak.
Yeah, so
UFC.
It shouldn't be that surprising they did it, but as I said, I think it was the highlight. If you had to pick one highlight of this entire fight card, I think it's just knockout.
He called out Dan Ige. I think he's kind of far from that call out.
Yeah, I think that's a lofty call. I don't blame him for doing it. You know, Ige would be down if.
I mean, nobody else really called anybody out. So for any names to be spouted, I get sure, it's gonna have some credence behind it.
And it's a call out where you know Dan Ige is a guy, as he proved a couple weeks ago. He doesn't say no to a fight, so it's like, yeah, he probably. But
I picked two better options.
I think Dan Ige has so much stock right now at the UFC for taking a fight in 4 hours. He's not going to take this fight.
Dan 300K Ige.
Yeah, he's going to take a more high-profile fight. No offense to Steve Garcia.
Absolutely. I picked two better ones in my opinion. What about Muhammad Naimov or David Onama?
Onama, I think that would be a good one. Naimov also, though. I think both would be good, but I would like to see Onana.
Onama? Perfect. I'll
Onana.
lock that one in for the future
Barack
prediction.
Onana?
Barack Onama. All right, let's move on to the main event. It was a quicker fight than I expected.
Brazil on Brazil, woman violence.
That's how we like it. Women's strawweight, Amanda Lemos. She was the third-ranked women's strawweight. Took on Virna Jandiroba, the fifth-ranked women's strawweight, and they swapped. Virna Jandiroba took her into the second round. She almost subbed her in the first round. Got pretty deep on those sub attempts.
Her jiu-jitsu is just nasty.
But Lemos in the first round countered well. You know, they were rolling together, but Jandiroba's jiu-jitsu is just so much better.
And it's so...
Found the holes.
It's like she puts pace on you. You hear about guys putting pace, or fighters putting pace, like on the feet.
Mm-hmm.
They don't let you breathe. It was like she was doing that on the ground.
Yeah, she's so fluid with it. They have here
like
only one of
off
5 takedowns.
You switch off for 1 second while you're on the ground with her.
It's over. Yeah.
And you see what happens. A second round sub.
4 sub attempts. She got, like we said, a couple deep in the first round and then just went straight back to it. Took the whole round. Most of the second round, or I guess about half of the second round, was spent on the ground with her just searching. You know, how am I going to get it?
Just waiting for you to fuck up.
Yeah, as soon as you do, boop, fight's over. And now, I would argue that Virna Jandiroba is in line for a title shot, regardless of who has the title.
Yeah, I think...
I mean, you look at it...
I wouldn't be surprised if she got a title shot, but she might need one more fight to...
Weili Zhang just beat Xiaonan Yan. That was their last title contention.
Yes.
So Xiaonan Yan's not fighting for the title. Virna Jandiroba has no reason to fight Xiaonan Yan, in my opinion.
To get a fight. To get a title.
Right, but Xiaonan Yan was beat up. So time-wise...
She had a little bit of success against...
No, I'm saying just time-wise, Zhang Weili probably wants to fight, once again, sooner rather than later. Tatiana Suarez is undefeated in the division, so that could be
a good one.
An argument.
I think Tatiana might get it above her.
If they do that, then like I said, I would still say Virna Jandiroba title shot next. I think she deserves it at this point. I mean, she's 21-3 in her career. She's winning every fight.
I wouldn't be surprised if she got a title shot. I think it'd be deserved if she got a title shot, but for some reason I'm thinking they're going to give her one more before then.
That would be fair. I mean, she's on a 4-fight win streak. She lost to Amanda Ribas, but then we just saw Amanda Ribas kind of get pieced up recently.
Yeah, Amanda Ribas is up and down.
Yeah. And that was just kind of one where she was up on. I think either way, it was a great performance by Virna Jandiroba.
Oh, yeah, great performance.
Second round sub. If she doesn't get a title shot next, I think she has one in her future. Just don't fuck it up.
We said Garcia had the highlight of the night. She had the win that progressed your career, the most important win of the night, I would say.
Yeah, definitely the most important win of the night for her career.